Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
I am that dude, Bodkins.
Yeah, DP lost like, deep. Yeah.
Right, where he's wondering he's like, I can't.
Patty.
One style, like no weight classes.
Yeah, basically, like I said, there's been a couple guys that are like,
It's ridiculous. No way. There's nobody else out there. He's your guy.
That's just not my mentality, bro.
Yeah. Leave the ladder down. That's my always like, hey, somebody helped you out. Why not help somebody else out? Return.
Give a big round of applause for the one and only Bodkins Show.
Or bringing Craig Counsell down the interstate in a move unexpected. I had people.
I'm going to repeat that again, folks. I didn't stutter. Welcome to the Bodkins Show.
Good morning, everybody. Jesus. Welcome to another great episode of the Bodkins Show. This is kind of our Sunday morning show. We've been gone for a few weeks. We're going to get better back to hopefully doing it almost every Sunday here. We just been, busy. Life happens. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the 4th of July. Hopefully everybody had a good time doing whatever it is that you do, whether, hopefully you shot some fireworks, went to see some fireworks, barbecued, spent some time, with friends, family, gatherings. It's 4th of July is one of my favorite holidays. I just love summer in general. So, I love being outside, water. I'm a pond, lake, river, ocean, whatever you want. I could just hang out by the water all day. Anyway, we got a lot to get into today. We're going to have a little NBA free agency talk. We'll talk the Steelers and the Dolphins trades and everything else. Plus, at the back end of the show, we're going to do our, since it was 4th of July, why not best war movies? Top 5 best war movies. So a lot to get into. You guys know we'll go ahead and bring in co-host of the show, my guy, Mr. Johnny Cruz. Johnny, what's up, my man?
What is going on, bro? Happy to be here for the weekly dump. And yes, people, we should be on a regular basis every Sunday now. Finally got completely moved. Had to spend last weekend cleaning out the old spot. So, settling in to the new spot here and carved out my little spot area for to do my show. So yeah, we should be good to go going forward. Every Sunday morning here to drop a big old dump on y'all.
Amen to that, brother. Johnny, we got a lot to get into. We'll start with the NBA. Obviously, the Thunder won their finals, and now it's NBA free agency. It seems to me like, NBA is just like it's a bunch of there's not like a huge name out there right now. The Durant trade that happened, but it seems like just a bunch of role players moving. But the biggest headline of this week was Dame Lillard being cut by the Bucks for pretty much Miles Turner. It's weird to see Miles leave Indiana. He spent his whole career there. It's just like, man, what are they doing? What are the Bucks doing? I know they're trying to keep Giannis happy so he doesn't ask for a trade. But it's still interesting to see what they're doing. And then Dame Lillard, they're going to pay him money to play someplace else. Obviously, he's going to be out for a year with the Achilles, but it's interesting. Your thoughts here on just the NBA free agency so far and kind of the moves that have been made.
Yeah, it's been a lot of extensions and re-signing for the most part. To touch on a little thing, I think the torn Achilles had a lot to do with it. I mean, he's going to be out the entire season anyway. Obviously, the experiment didn't work out. Bringing him in, they've had a first round exit.
Yeah,
both times.
I think both times though. Like either Dame was hurt or Giannis got hurt. So,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right. That's what happens when you trade for an older player, and Dame. It didn't seem like Dame was slowing down when they traded for him, but. He obviously ain't 28, 29. He's he's in his low.
Years old.
He's in his mid 30s already. I like the Turner pickup for them. You got a rim protector. He's gotten a lot better on the offensive side of the ball. So Giannis gets some help down low. So Giannis can play the four more frequently than he has. So I like that move. I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming Indiana's gonna go ahead and just go young since they got their own issue with not having Halliburton for the whole year.
I think Turner's young too, but like it's not like he's like an older veteran here,
right? But I think he's probably either 29 or 30 already.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was essentially like their only asset besides Halliburton or Siakam. You know what I mean? Unless you're gonna trade one of the little role players, which I don't know how much they were gonna get for those role players, but they got a few picks for Miles Turner, and I think it's essentially gonna be a reset year for them because you ain't gonna have Tyrese for the whole year with his own Achilles injury. So it's gonna be interesting to say. The young players are gonna get a lot of playing time this year without those two guys there. So hopefully, you're preparing them for the following season. But yeah, no major big fish out there. The Durant trade to Houston, I like Jalen Green's potential and what he can turn into, but I understand Houston kind of going for it because you still got all those other young players that are on the team. You add KD to it. Hopefully he can stay healthy, and hopefully he's happy and want to. I mean, the first year is always a good year. They always behave and act right the first year. So I like what Houston's doing, actually going after it, adding KD to that. Everything else was just re-signing. Triple J, Jaren Jackson re-signed with Memphis. Shea, of course, with OKC with that bro. 4 years, what was it? Yeah. $285 million. Like that's ridiculous money right there, bro. And they wonder why, and hopefully he seems to have the same mentality. We've talked about this before, like Anthony Edwards, where like them getting the bag doesn't mean that they're not going to put the work in. You know what I'm saying? Like they're going to work hard, and Shea plays every game.
The Thunder to me if done well, like Presti's kind of reshored that bench up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, we're gonna
the Caruso pickup was huge. You know what I'm saying? They did a good job, and they still have their young core of SGA, Williams, and then you got Chet there. So if they can figure out how to make sure that they pay those three and they can keep those three together for a while, unlike their previous opportunity when they had Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden, they weren't able to keep James Harden. But no, I mean it's going to be interesting to see what happens. The Lakers signed DeAndre Ayton. I don't know what really that's going to do for them.
Yeah, I saw some Laker fans happy about that trade. To me, like DeAndre Ayton is
he's a Jag. He's just another guy. You know what I'm saying?
It's like,
he's a body down low.
He called like he was a problem in Portland, like as far as like problems like off the court, like wouldn't come to practice. He's out of shape. That one time he called into a game because the roads were icy. So it's like how much invested are you into basketball? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I think there's some questions there. Now they needed a center, and you talk about that was the thing. It's like LeBron James opts in, and but now it's like, well, he may or may not want to be traded. I don't foresee LeBron James being traded or asking for a trade. I don't know what team really wants LeBron James at 40 years old. Like, what are you going to get him for a year, maybe two? You know what I mean? And like, are you willing to mortgage the future for LeBron James? I don't really think so.
I don't think there are a lot of teams out there that really want to do it. And good for the Lakers for finally. I mean, it took them selling the team and the new owner to basically be like, yeah, we're going to build this around Luka, which is what it should be.
Yeah.
He's a 26-year-old, 5-time All-NBA. He's the future. So, you know what I'm saying? If LeBron, and I'm not going to hate on anybody for getting their money. I mean, $52.6 million, that's a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? But he could have taken a slight pay cut if he really was all about winning, so that way they had more money to spend. But I'm not going to blame him for that's his contract, that's his option. So, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say no to $52.6 million, but, how good can they possibly be? But when you got Luka, you know what I'm saying, you saw what he did with Dallas, taking them to the final a couple years ago. Now you got him a big man with the pick and rolls. Let's see how much, how committed DeAndre Ayton is. Maybe he'll have some more joy and fun playing with Luka. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So that'll pique his interest a
I
little
think
bit more.
being on a winning organization on a winning
Right.
team is
Right.
important.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're a little bit more motivated. I think.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Denver made some moves.
Yeah, I was just getting ready
Finally
to
get. Yeah.
Denver's moves here. So I like what Denver did.
Yep. Me too.
They got rid of Michael Porter Jr., which is one of the most frustrating. We talk about it all the time. I'm one of the most frustrating players to watch. But they get Cam Johnson. I think that's kind of an upgrade. They get Jonas Valanciunas, an actual backup for
Joker.
Jokic, which they didn't have. And then they signed Tim Hardaway Jr. and bring back Bruce Brown, who was on their championship team. Like, I like to add those. Those are nice pieces to add to that bench that was real thin to what they already have. Like, they are trying to retool here and kind of build around the MVP Jokic.
Yeah, I'm completely with you on that one. They needed to do something. I like Jamal Murray, but he ain't worth the $50 million that he's getting paid, because he's hot and cold a lot. He's not as consistent as they need him to be. And Michael Porter, I mean, that's about as underachieving as a player as there possibly is. All he wants to do is shoot 3-pointers. You're 6'10", bro. He has no post-up game. He can't handle the ball well enough to drive to the basket. So I love that trade for Cam Johnson. I don't know what the hell the Nets were thinking. Cam Johnson is a similar player, you know what I'm saying, a 3-point shooter, but he's a much better defender. He can actually put the basket on the ground and make some moves and go towards the basket much better than Michael Porter Jr. So I think that's an upgrade there. Yeah, you mentioned bringing Bruce Brown back, Tim Hardaway Jr. for the bench. Like, I like what Denver has done. And Joker's, he's eligible for the max extension this summer. So you better make some moves to try to make him happy, so that he signs that extension, because you definitely want to keep him in Denver for his whole career, or at least for another 4 or 5 years.
It's weird to me. We're watching the domino effect of certain things, right? Like, back to the Miles Turner thing. It's like, it's weird if maybe Tyrese Halliburton doesn't blow his Achilles out in Game 7. Who knows what, he was cooking in that game a little bit, as the kids would say, before that injury. Like, who knows if they win or lose that game if he doesn't get hurt. But then, like, if they win, does Miles Turner stay in Indy? You know what I mean? But now, because they know they're going to go a whole year. You look at Boston, right? Like, Jason Tatum, they know they're going to be without him for a full year without the Achilles, injury. So, like, now they're kind of tearing it down. Gone is Porzingis, gone is Drew Holiday. Now, a lot of that is like the cap. Like, they kind of knew they couldn't get to that second apron of the cap where they were going to have to pay a shit ton of money in luxury tax. So they kind of knew they were up against it. But we've now seen Porzingis gone. We've now seen Drew Holiday to Portland as well. So it's just like we're seeing kind of the domino effects of these postseason injuries, much like, that happened with Dame. Like, if he doesn't, tear his Achilles out, maybe he's still in Milwaukee, but it's just like we're seeing these domino effects from these like postseason injuries, because these guys are going to be out for at least a year or so. In Dame's case, like our friend Bobby G, friend of the program, I think he posted on X, was like, where should Dame play? I said the nursing home. I just think Dame at 36 years old, you coming off an Achilles injury, you know what I mean? Like, he's not Tyrese and he's not Jason Tatum in his younger 20s. This man's 36 years old. Like, I'm 38. That means I'm 2 years old. I couldn't imagine blowing out my damn Achilles and trying to come back and play basketball like that. So,
I mean, his best bet when he comes back, obviously he's not going to be the same player that he was before the injury. And even then he wasn't exactly the same player he was in Portland. Is way behind him. Absolutely.
In the rear view mirror more than in the in the windshield.
Right. Yeah. But find a team that you can go be a role player for and try to win a chip. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's going to need to do, where maybe you play 12 to 15 minutes a game, a little bit more maybe. Go try to be a sixth man or something somewhere. You know, that's his best option, I think, for next year. But I'm with you as far as the domino effect with all these injuries. But Boston doing it smart, man. You trade away Drew Holiday, an older, big inflated contract for the young Simmons kid out of Portland. Porzingis, I mean, when he's healthy, he's a good player, but he can't stay healthy. So that was a good move right there. So they still have, Tatum's going to be out all year, but they still have Brown and they still got the white kid. I mean, he's not a kid anymore. He's getting up there in age as well, but they still got those three pieces and a couple players that always come off the bench for them. But I like what Brad Stevens has done to kind of keep them to where they'll still be competitive, but still, make the moves that they needed to make to get under the different aprons or whatever, so that way they can kind of reload once Tatum comes back in a year.
Yeah, I really, man, it's the East is going to be like, I think, wide open. You know what I mean? Like, next year. And like I said, we're seeing a lot of, to me, more like there wasn't a whole lot of superstars after the Durant trade, right? And I think everybody's kind of waiting to see what happens with this Giannis. It seems to be a lot of good role players are moving teams, more so less than like we're seeing like superstars moved. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you on that too. That there isn't that really high priced, free agent that's out there. So it's just been kind of, just a few exterior moves, like you mentioned, role players and stuff like that. I mean, I guess the biggest one would be, KD going to Houston. That's about it. I mean, Clarkson, the Knicks picking up Jordan Clarkson from Utah, I think is a good pickup. He's a good energy guy, good defender, a good guy off the bench. I mean, I don't know about Mike Brown. I guess he's a good
That's
coach.
What I was going to ask you. Yeah, to Mike Brown, to me, I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to ask you: is he any better than Tom Thibodeau? I don't think so.
I mean, I think he's more of a player's coach. He's probably not going to run them into the ground the way that Tibbs tends to do sometimes with his starters, but that's just who Tibbs was. But you got to give Tom Thibodeau his credit for getting the team to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. So props to him for that. Mike Brown comes, I believe, from the Greg Popovich tree, so he's all about defense and stuff like that. But
he's been around the block, like you know what I mean, like
and he's been successful pretty much in everywhere he's gone. Now he hasn't obviously won any titles or anything.
Conference finals, right?
Yeah. I mean, so you're relying, on his ability to kind of motivate the guys or whatever. Like I said, and not run them into the ground. So hopefully he's got himself a good staff that he puts together with him there, because I mean, New York is kind of built to go on to make their run. Now the time is now. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Brunson ain't going to get any younger. So we'll see what happens there. But I like the Clarkson move. As far as Mike Brown, like I said, I don't know how much better I would put him over Tom Thibodeau, if he's even better than Tom Thibodeau. It's just a different style. So maybe that's what they needed, though, a different voice, a different style in that locker room. So hopefully that's what they needed, and it'll get them over the edge. If they don't, there's been a lot of rumors about LeBron wanting to go to the Knicks. Now, if they do that, then they're just stupid. You know what I'm saying? To blow this shit up, to bring a 41-year-old LeBron James over there.
Have to give up everything else.
Right. What I mean? And not only that, but Jalen Brunson is a ball-dominant player, even though he can play without the ball. But for the most part, the ball's in his hands when it's time to make a play. You know what I'm saying? And LeBron still wants to be that guy. And so I hope the Knicks stay as far away from LeBron James as they possibly can.
So, I want to back up. Mike Brown did coach in the NBA Finals. He was a part of the 07 NBA Finals. He was coaching
with the Cavs.
And coached them to the finals, and they got swept by the Spurs. And he is a two-time coach of the year. But then was fired, obviously, then succeeded in LA, Phil Jackson, but you know what I mean? Like he's been bounced around from team to team, you know what I mean? But they just never went. He's never won, did coach in the finals, but I don't really know. To me, I don't know if like I look at that as like an upgrade. You know what I mean? Like
right. No, I hear you on that one. It's hard to say. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, the only thing is obviously it's a different style than what Tom Thibodeau does. So again, maybe a new voice will help them out. But he's been fairly successful everywhere he's been. I mean, we got to remember, as far as these coaches getting fired, bro. Like the players have all the power. You know what I'm saying? So if the player wants a coach fired, I mean, look at this kid what the hell is his name that won with the Lakers?
Frank Vogel.
Yeah, Frank Vogel. You're saying he wins a championship. He's obviously a really good coach, but you know what I'm saying? LeBron doesn't want him there anymore, and then he's gone. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? Because I think LeBron was the reason that Mike Brown got fired from the Cavs. You know what I'm saying? So these players are the ones that control that shit. So I'm gonna assume that the front office from the Knicks probably spoke to Jalen Brunson about, say Mike Brown or whatever. So I'm sure they'll have some type of a relationship. I don't know if he was, if he ever coached them at any point in time. I mean, I know they really wanted Jason Kidd, but I mean, from all I've read and stuff like that, I mean, Mike Brown's a good players coach. So we'll see what happens. Ultimately, it comes down to the players, but we'll see what happens here. Like I said, I just hope they don't make the mistake of getting caught up with this whole LeBron shit. Like, let him stay in LA and continue destroying the Lakers.
We'll see. Let's move to some NFL news. Your Dolphins have been in the news. They trade Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then welcome back Minkah Fitzpatrick. At first, I didn't know Minkah was going to be part of that package. I felt like that kind of dropped out late. Your thoughts on just both moves? For the Steelers, I don't know if I understand getting rid of Minkah for Jalen. I believe that Minkah might be a year or two younger. And he's like they're both really good, but I don't understand quite that effect, but I get, Arthur Smith loves him some Jonnu Smith from that point in, and they're trying to get some 2 tight end sets, I think, with Fairmouth and Jonnu Smith, and I think they're going to run the ball. Aaron's going to take care of the ball, but this is an all-in move for the Steelers. I don't know what it makes for your Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Dolphins pretty much had no choice as far as the Jalen Ramsey front. He wanted it out. So they had to do something with him. I was just as surprised to hear that Minkah was coming back in that package. The Jonnu Smith was strictly money. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he made $4 million last year. Yeah, he had a career year, but I mean, he didn't just want to raise. He wanted to be paid like a top tight end. And I like Jonnu and the whole shit, but bro, you ain't a top tight end. You know what I'm saying? You're a good offensive. You're a good offensive.
He was your best.
Yeah, no, I agree. But how much of that was because Tyreek and Waddle were always double teamed? You know what I'm saying? So that's a big part of it. You know what I'm saying? And again, I like Jonnu Smith. I wanted him to stay. I thought he was somebody that they could have extended, but apparently he wanted, $12+ million a year. I don't think he's worth all that for as much as they use the tight end. So they got rid of him to actually get a player back of Minkah's caliber. Is he the same player he was 4 or 5 years ago? No. He's still a really good safety. You can move him all around the field, similar to what you can do with Jalen Ramsey. So I think he helps the Dolphins out that way. Is he going to be willing to play all those different positions? Because that was the issue with Brian Flores originally, even though it's come out that it was more Brian Flores himself and the way he was acting than what he wanted Minkah to do is why Minkah wanted to leave. But the fact that they actually got a player and got a decent pick, not a great pick, a 5th round pick, but you get Minkah Fitzpatrick and a 5th round pick. Minkah's contract is $15 million compared to Jalen Ramsey's $26
Yeah.
So you save some money, you get a little bit younger player, you address a position of need, and you picked up a draft pick. I mean, as far as the Dolphins are concerned, I'll take that. They still need to find themselves a corner because right now you got a couple of undrafted free agents starting at the cornerback position. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Dolphins do from there. But the fact that they got Minka and a pick for Jalen Ramsey and Jono when they had to trade them, I thought it was a pretty good job, considering the circumstances for the Dolphins and Chris.
Well, here's the thing about Jonnu. He's still pretty young. Like he's only 29.
Yeah.
And he did set the franchise record for receptions, receiving yards by tight end last year.
No, he had a really good year. Like I said, the Dolphins wanted to keep him, but
he only finished behind Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, and George Kittle.
Right, and that's the problem is that George Kittle got a brand new contract. There was a couple other tight ends that got brand new contracts, and they were all, 14, 15, 16 million dollars. So he wanted something like that as opposed to, 8 or 9. You know what I'm saying? So the Dolphins just weren't going to pay him, 14, 12 to 14 million dollars. The Steelers are, because like you said, they're kind of all in right now. So I wanted Jonnu to stay. Jonnu supposedly in all the interviews, said he wanted to be a Dolphin, but they didn't want to pay him what he wanted, so he went and took the money. And again, I'm never gonna hate on a player for trying to get paid. You know what I'm saying? Especially football, where an injury can happen at any point in time. You make your money when you got a chance to. He capitalized on having his career year last year, and now he's in Pittsburgh, and it's essentially, I mean, I know they said it's a 2-year deal. It's essentially a 1-year deal for $12 million. Let's see how well he does this year, but he's not a blocker. You know what I'm saying? He's a receiving tight end. But I'm going to trust Mike Tomlin as far as the Pittsburgh side of it. I'm going to trust Mike Tomlin. If your boy can stay upright and stay healthy, Aaron Rodgers, they're going to run the ball, play defense like they normally do. So it's going to be interesting to see what Pittsburgh does, and we get to play Pittsburgh on Monday night. So it's going to be an interesting matchup when they play each other.
Yeah. How about the Dolphins? Ramsey's now becomes the 4th Dolphins captain from last season to exit the squad. So it's kind of funny that they're 4 of their captains have left, and it's they're kind
well, I mean, I hear you. I mean, it's essentially a rebuild without being a complete tear down rebuild. You know what I'm saying? But Toronto
might be the worst case.
Right. Toronto Armstead retired. It is what it is. I'm sure if they had a way to get out of the Tyreek Hill deal, they would have done it as well. Jalen Ramsey, reports were coming out that he was the one that was showing up late to meetings and shit like that. And, like, you're going to be a captain, you're a veteran player, you're talking about wanting to lead the squad, but yet you're coming to meetings late and doing shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so is that who you want, leading your team? And granted, the players are the ones that pick the captain. So obviously they picked them before all that shit started happening, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? The most important thing for the Dolphins is to keep Tua upright. Mike McDaniel hopefully can make the proper adjustments. I like what the defense is putting together. I like the defensive front with all the draft picks, and if Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb can stay healthy, I think they'll have a good pass rush. Now that secondary, besides Minka, is hella young.
Yeah, I just read it said a whole new secondary, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. The only one coming back is Cater Cole, who again was an undrafted free agent a couple years ago. I mean, he's developed into a nice player, but for the most part, everybody else is young besides Minka. So it's gonna be interesting to see what the Dolphins do. But
Tiger Stripes.
What up? But yeah, it's essentially a rebuild. I'm not going into the season with any kind of expectations. Like I'd rather have no or low expectations and then be pleasantly surprised than to go into it all hyped up and then get disappointed again.
Yeah. I feel you. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that trade and kind of for the Steelers. They're going they're going all in to get Jalen Ramsey. Like, this is unsteeler characteristic moves, right? Like these trades that they're making, going to get Aaron Rodgers, going to, get DK. Like, this is not, we haven't seen them make these. Now they have a new general manager like the last 2 years or so.
Right.
And he's, making moves. Like, they're wanting to win. They know the clock is ticking. I think Mike Tomlin knows. The fan base, I think, is kind of getting tired of just like above 500 and making the playoffs isn't good enough. You know what I mean? So they want to win a playoff game.
I'm with you, and I get that, but it's just, I mean, be careful what you wish for, because it seems like the fans have been hating on Mike Tomlin for several years now, and again, all he does is have winning records and make the playoffs every year. But that apparently isn't good enough for Steeler fans. But
it's almost the worst. It's almost the worst spot. Like, I've said they're almost the worst spot to be. Like, they're never going to win the Super Bowl. Like, they're not Super Bowl contenders. They're not the elite. Now, maybe this year, if the right pieces break, they can.
Right.
But like,
they haven't had that quarterback since Ben.
Yeah, and you're never bad enough to draft in the top. 10. You know what I mean? So you're almost like in mediocre land where it's like just recycling out. But we'll see what happens with Aaron. Hopefully he plays well, and hopefully I'm going to be rooting for the Steelers. Obviously I'm always going to be an Aaron Rodgers fan. I've always liked Mike Tomlin. So hopefully they do well, and like I said before, I could see the Steelers finishing second in their division. So.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm a Mike Tomlin fan as well. I mean, we've talked about Aaron Rodgers. I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan as well on the field. Obviously, I'm not going to be cheering for them when the Dolphins play them, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them. And if both of these teams underachieve, maybe they'll both be looking for new coaches, and maybe Stephen Ross won't think that Mike Tomlin is too hip hop to actually hire him this time if it comes down to that. But it's gonna be interesting to see. Like you said, I mean, the Steelers haven't had that guy at quarterback since Ben. Yeah, they tried with Russ last year, and they drafted a couple of guys.
They should get Fields out there.
I thought so too, but they clearly didn't see enough from him to build around him. Now you got the grizzled old veteran who can, if he can stay healthy. Again, this team is always going to play good defense. They're going to run the ball. They basically redid their entire offensive line over the last couple drafts. So if they can keep Aaron Rodgers healthy, and TJ Watt stays healthy on the defensive side, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, man. I'm with you. They can easily be second or win the division, or they can be dead last. And not with Cleveland, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Cincinnati. Baltimore is always going to be right there, but Pittsburgh tends to, get
Tiger
Baltimore.
I think they'll go 10-6. So I think
that sounds about right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, so I hear you with they're usually right around there, but at least they make the playoffs pretty much every time. I would take that over, a mediocre team that always just misses the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I want to switch to some WNBA real quick. The actual hate for these players have for Caitlin Clark, I still it. It baffles me. She is obviously voted number one in the fans for the All-Star break. They voted her the 9th best guard in the league.
That's just.
It's just a straight disrespect. Like, she isn't playing. She's been hurt a lot this year, for the most part. This first 18 games or so, she hasn't played a whole lot, and she is when she is out, her shooting percentage is down. There is some things, but to say she's the 9th best guard in the league is absolutely insane to me.
Yeah, it's complete hate by the players. It's the same. It's the same as last year. It's just continued on into the season. No, she hasn't been playing very well, but she's been getting beat up, so she's been dealing with injury. She's only played in 9 out of the 17 games that they've played, and she wasn't playing great. But again, the players have been hating on her since the minute she got drafted and got into the league. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Of course, she got voted by the fans. She is the needle. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Fuck moving the needle. She is the needle. You know what I'm saying? And the players, instead of accepting it and jumping on it, so that way you can elevate yourself and get some notoriety and get some more money. All they want to do is shit on her. The commissioner hasn't done a really good job of trying to stop that either. And the referees are absolutely horrible and biased as well. So, but the players are going to find out real quick because the CBA is going to be over soon. So they're going to be, bargaining soon with the owners. And when they go to the owners with all this bullshit demands that they want, the owners are going to look around and be like, well, where Caitlin at?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because she's the one that is going to be making the money for them. So y'all can hate on her all you want, but when y'all go to negotiate with those owners and those owners are like, yo, the only one that's moving the needle is the actual needle. Where's she at? You know what I'm saying? Because y'all steady hating on her instead of, and I'm not saying, people be like, oh, well, are they supposed to bow down? No, you don't bow down, but you can accept the fact that she's a good player and welcome the new young up and coming players into the league instead of always hating on these younger players.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because Paige was getting beat up for a bit there too. You know what I'm saying? But they've kind of calmed that down. You know what I'm saying? But there's a nice crop of young talent in this league. There's some more good young players in college that are going to be coming as well.
Caitlin's missed more games this year than she's missed in her entire career. So
yeah.
Hopefully she gets healthy and hopefully.
And that was the thing too, is that she had the one injury, and I think she came back too early because probably she felt some pressure. She wants to be out there with her teammates, and then now she hurt her groin now. So hopefully it's not. And Stephanie White, who's the coach, said that they're not trying to.
The coach missed some time too, like they just
with some personal stuff
and continuity,
right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, people got to understand, it's going to take some time for them to kind of gel and get that chemistry together with, you got a bunch of new teammates on that team, and then, of course, like the Christina Peck, who's like the Purdue coach, or I probably got her first name wrong too, but she's an analyst on ESPN. I actually had the nerve to say, but she's been hating on Caitlin since last year. I actually had the nerve to say that Indiana's more dangerous without Caitlin Clark. Like, stop, like the hate is just dripping out of your ears, bro. At that point, like you say,
how can you be when somebody like that's like saying the Warriors are better off without Steph Curry, like
that's just an ignorant comment, and you're just showing your hate. Like, you might as well just wear a hat that says "I hate Caitlin Clark." You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the stupidest thing, and you want people to take your league seriously when this is the type of people that you have representing your league. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Paige Beckers too. She had an interview in either Vanity Fair or something like that, where she acknowledged it. She said, it's awesome what Caitlin's doing for the league. She's like, it's an opportunity for everybody else, because when people tune in to see Caitlin, they discover, Arike Egumbwale. They find all these other players, and then suddenly they become fans of other players. So, she was giving her props and stuff like that, but. Like, if more people had that mentality instead of, having the hate mentality, the league would be doing so much better, because numbers don't lie. And when she's been out, the TV viewing and the attendance has been shit. And then when she's there, it's off the charts. So, you know what I'm saying? I was hoping that in the second year that the league would be smarter, the players would be smarter, but they're so deep into their hate for Caitlin, they can't help themselves but just hate on the girl. But hopefully she gets healthy, because I want to see her play. You know what I'm saying? Like, her and Sabrina from My Liberty are my favorite two players to watch. So I hope she gets healthy soon and is back out there on the court, because she's fun to watch.
Amen to that. We got about a week away here from the All-Star break. The All-Stars were named. Anybody in Major League Baseball? Is there anybody that you felt like was left off the list or should have been an All-Star?
I Honestly, I would have to look at it. I've been too busy being disgusted by my New York Knicks playing my New York Yankees playing like total shit the last several weeks. Like it's been fucking horrible, bro. I want to say they've lost like 13 of 16 or something like that. Like it's just disgusting. They're out of first place.
Yeah, I saw that they're no longer in first place.
They went up to Toronto and got swept in a 4-game series. So Toronto's up 3 games. They're actually tied for second place with the Rays. I mean, this team was 16 games over 500. Now they're 7 games over 500. Like the Yankees are just playing like shit. But yeah, I think the All-Star game couldn't have come at a better time because I think the Yankees need some type of a break or whatever. But I haven't gotten a chance to check out the.
Hold on a second. I'll pull it up. This is not what I wanted. Let me go to.
Damn, is it already? Damn, it's already July, bro. It's crazy.
Yep. All-Star roster. Here we go. So. No, that's not what I'm stupid. 2000. Here we go. All-Star game starters. So in the American League, you got the big dumper Cal Raleigh for catcher, which I mean he's leading the league in home runs. The perfect, perfect start. Vlad Guerrero starting first base. Your guy, my guy, Gleyber Torres, baby. Gets away from from New York and makes his first All-Star. Jacob Wilson of the A's, first All-Star selection, as well as shortstop. Third base, Jose Ramirez. DH, Ryan O'Hearn from the O's. The outfield, Aaron Judge making his 7th start. Riley Green of the Tigers. And my guy, Javi Baez, making his 3rd start and 3rd different position. Man, I couldn't be more happier for a guy than Javi Baez. Like, I just wanted to shout out my guy Javi.
The Detroit's playing extremely well. Yeah, Detroit's playing extremely well. I mean, I like their coach, except for the whole cheating shit that he did with Houston. But he's obviously a good manager. They got some good pieces. They got the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and it's no surprise that Gleyber is playing well. You know what I'm saying? I never doubted Gleyber's ability. It was just his inconsistency with the Yankees. And when he gets into the mode of trying to hit for power is when he kind of just turns to crap. You know what I'm saying? If he just sticks to just contact, line drive from line to line, he can be. I said when he was a Yankee that if he focused on just hitting line drives, that he can win a batting title. He can hit over 300. He's that good of a player. But that short porch in right field or whatever it was, he was just trying to hit home runs. He had that one season where he hit like 30-something home runs, and then after that, he just thought he was a home run hitter. And you're not, bro. You know what I'm saying? So stick to what you can do, which is make good contact. Second base, is an easy position for him. So I'm happy for him that he's having success. And
yeah,
I've always liked Javi Baez, so I'm happy for Javi Baez, you know what I'm saying, and the Tigers. So good for them. I can see, just looking at the list, I don't see any major snubs. You know what I'm saying? I would have to look at all the stats and get deep into it. But for the most part, it looks like the people that are having good seasons are getting the recognition that they should get.
Yeah, the National League starters goes as follows: Will Smith, Freddie Freeman, Ketel Marte, Francisco Lindor. This is his first starter. Man, that's crazy.
I heard that. I heard that the other day during the Yankee game, and I could not believe that this is his first time starting in an All-Star game. That's crazy.
Yeah. I thought the same thing. Manny Machado at third base. DH is obviously Shohei. Outfield goes as followed. All Cubs, baby. PCA and Kyle Tucker outside of Ronald Acuna Jr. So. A lot of Cubs representing, so I'm just happy that PCA and Tucker, that price tag on Tucker is going to be real expensive in the offseason, but we're going to have to pay that man his money, So,
Well, I mean, we talked about it when the trade happened, bro. That they definitely want to lock him down.
Yeah.
He's a top 10 player without a doubt. He may even be top 5. He's that good of a hitter, and he's a really good outfielder as well. So yeah, I'm happy for you and your Cubs. Hopefully they can keep it going. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens. But no, this like I said, as far as the Yankee fan in me, this All-Star break couldn't have come at a better time.
Yeah, we got one more
we're
week.
playing like shit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just get through this week 5-5 at that. You know what I'm saying, or just go 500.
Yeah, Cubs.
For God's sake,
Yankees play this week actually.
Oh yeah, that's right. We do play you right before. Oh Jesus, just don't
Yeah.
get swept. I don't want to hear Nick talking shit the whole time. Don't get swept, Yankees. That's all I ask.
We got the Cardinals right now, and then we play. I think we play y'all, or we got the Twins in between there. 3-game set with the Twins, and then next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Cubs Yankees.
Oh nice. Oh yeah. So yeah, we get. There might be some shit talking next Sunday morning on the weekly dump.
So we'll
But
see.
no, I'm looking forward to it. It should be fun, man.
This Cubs starting pitching's been atrocious.
Yeah. Well, and that's been our issue too. Obviously Garrett Cole's out for the whole year. The rookie of the year, Luis Gil, has been out all year. Now Clark Schmidt just is going to have Tommy John surgery. So if it wasn't for all those people that were hating on the Yankees for signing Max Fried, if we didn't sign Max Fried, we wouldn't have anybody. So Max Fried wound up being a godsend because our pitching staff has just been destroyed with injuries. So we're bringing up all the young kids now. So I don't mind that as much, you know what I'm saying? Because I think you need to find out which ones of these young players are going to be able to move forward with. Obviously they're the Yankees, so they'll probably make a move at the deadline, but don't give up the farm for a rental, please. You know what I'm saying? Like they've done in years past. If you just make it to the playoffs and see what happens. But no, they're playing like total shit right now. So hopefully they turn it around.
Yeah. Hopefully they do. Let's move to the back end of the show.
Right.
The Diddy trial is wrapped up, and the man was pretty much, I believe he was found innocent on most accounts outside of, was found guilty on two different accounts. Let me pull it back up here. I had it here just the other day. Who did I send this to? Well, now I can't find. Oh. Way back. Well, let me just Google it here. I want to make sure we get it right. But I knew that Diddy, as soon as there was politicians and things like that, I knew that he was going to be found innocent. There's just too much money, and a lot of people are saying, "How did Diddy get away with it?" But R. Kelly was found guilty. Well, let me tell you, because Diddy was doing it with multiple people, so they had to, and R. Kelly was by himself, so that's why.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I haven't followed it to know the details. Go ahead.
Here we go. So what we need to know: Sean Diddy Combs was acquitted of racketeering and sex trafficking, and was found guilty on 2 lesser charges of transportation of former girlfriends and for prostitution. The verdict is seen as a victory for Combs, who was cleared for most of the serious charges. His defense team opted not to call witnesses. The judge denied bail, so Combs is still in jail until they sentence him. And then prosecutors said they will seek a 4 to 5 year prison sentence. So we'll see what happens next here for Mr. Diddy Combs. You're muted. There you go.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. Yeah, the dogs wanting to contribute to this Diddy conversation. That's how the dog is upset about this stuff too. But like you mentioned, I mean, there were so many people, so many higher up people, so many of the 1% involved in this. You knew he wasn't going to get caught up in the major shit, but
right.
He's going to do some time. You know what I'm saying? He's got to do some time. If he gets off scot-free, then this whole system is. I mean, the system's it is what it is. But he got found guilty on the lesser charges, which was a no-brainer. At the very least, he should get those. But they weren't trying to let the big names come out. So saying? People did what they had to do to make sure that this shit gets done and over with as quickly as possible.
Yep.
But no, I mean, if he really did do some of the shit, I mean, he's gonna get what he deserves, and he deserves to be in prison. So we'll see what happens ultimately. But the sex trafficking and all that, I figured he wouldn't get caught up in that. They will find a way. But it's gonna be interesting to see what happens post this. You know what I'm saying? Because he better watch himself in jail. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm just saying. You know how it goes, bro. So he better watch himself there.
Amen to that. Let's get into our top 5 here. We got the best since it was 4th of July. So what nothing says 4th of July to me like some good war movies. Obviously the Independence Day movie. I always try to watch it. You gotta love the speech Bill Pullman pulls off in Independence Day, the movie. But let's get into our top 5 war movies. Your number 5, Johnny.
Well, I'm not the biggest war movie fan. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite songs is "One" by Metallica. And if you've ever seen the video to that, it has Johnny got his gun. It's based on a movie, a war movie where homeboy gets blown up, but he's still alive, but he ain't got no limbs or nothing. So it's just kind of crazy or whatever. So yeah, I'm not the biggest war, but my number 5 is exactly what you said, Independence Day. Yes, I know it's.
I don't even classify that as a war movie.
Well, I mean, we were fighting a war against aliens, so you're saying it is what it is. And that, yes, that line. I mean, I figured the 4th of July, why not? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Independence Day. So I put that one down as my number 5.
Yeah. Today is our Independence Day. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my number 5 one. The other four are more actual war type.
Okay.
Movies.
Now I like it. My number 4. And it's really just the boot camp.
5. Your number 5. Your number 5.
Sorry. Yeah, my number 5. Just really, you can stop it after the boot camp scene, but the first hour of this movie, Full Metal Jacket, and the whole boot camp scene. Anybody that's ever went to boot camp like myself will tell. Some of that shit is just and some of it's obviously over the top. But I wasn't a Marine, so that might be pretty fucking spot on. And the drill sergeant in the movie was an actual drill sergeant for the Marines. So, I didn't know they stacked. How tall are you? I didn't know 6 foot something. I didn't know they stacked tall shit that high. So Full Metal Jacket's my number 5. Just solely based off the boot camp scene. After that, it kind of gets a little bit drawn out, but the first 30 minutes of where they're in boot camp, give me Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, that's actually my number 4. And it's exactly for what you just said right there. Like that. Yeah, after watching that shit, and again, this shit came out when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
So after watching that shit, I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good with the military. I love my country and the whole shit, but yeah, I'm not built for that shit right there, bro. So yeah, but no, that shit was crazy. No, but it's a really good movie. But I hear you. After that part, it kind of gets drawn out a little bit. But
yeah,
just that first 40-45 minutes was just like holy shit, bro.
Yeah,
so yeah. Full Metal Jacket. That's my number 4.
Okay, yeah. My number 4 is The Hurt Locker.
That was good, bro.
Yeah, and it's kind of really based off of true shit too. Obviously, where Jeremy Renner's character is, he's DOD has to undo the bombs, and they want him to go do use these robots, and he's pretty much going out there by himself. He can't handle it. Then he tries to go back home, can't handle it. Just loves being in the shit for the most part. Such a great psychological movie more than just a war movie. But Hurt Locker is my number 4.
Yeah, no, that was a really, really good movie, man. I enjoyed that one too. It's to see obviously Renner plays Hawkeye in the MCU, so to see him in that kind of role was really good. I mean, the movie itself was really good.
Anthony Mackie's in that movie.
Anthony Mackie's in it too, right? Yeah, it was well written. The performances were great. Yeah, no, that was a really good one.
Yeah, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is I'm going with Three Kings.
Oh shit,
yeah. I don't know if you remember that, but
Yeah.
Ice Cube,
George
George Clooney, and I believe was it Mark Wahlberg? Was Mark Wahlberg in there with them?
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg or Matt Damon. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, it was Mark Wahlberg, and it was essentially the Iraqi war with Saddam Hussein in the 90s, and they found out about like a bunch of gold and stuff like that, so they put a scheme together to steal a bunch of gold. So it was more in the action type stuff that was going on with that, as opposed to like actual war time stuff. But hey, it qualifies as a war movie, and it was definitely entertaining. I had a lot of fun watching that movie.
Nah, I like it. I've seen that one a few times. My number 3 is We Were Soldiers with Mel Gibson.
Oh, nice.
They go to fucking Vietnam, obviously based on a true story as well. I mean, when he's like telling the troops, he's like, I will be the first one on the field, and I will be the last one off the field, and we will all come back home, dead or alive. And like, you're just like, oh shit, man. Like, you know, like that's, and just the intense of like that movie when they, as soon as they drop down and they're like in the fucking shit and there's just bullets and shit, you know, legit war just going on, you know, nonstop. And Sam Elliott's in the movie. He's a fucking like an old grumpy ass fucking, you know, sergeant, and he's just like, guys, like, it's like, good day. So he's like, what kind of fucking day? How are you gonna tell me what good day it is? Are you a fucking weatherman? Like, you know, like just all types of shit. So yeah, great movie, good cast in that movie as well. So you know, Barry Pepper's in that movie. The pilot is the helicopter pilot's he's I can't think of his name. Klein, I think is is in that movie as well. So yeah, We Were Soldiers is number 3.
Yeah, no, that's a really, really good one right there. There was a lot, man. There was a lot of really, really good war movies. I mean, unfortunately, you know, we've had so many different wars that you know what I'm saying, the different adaptations. My number 2 is Schindler's List. You're saying, I mean, it may not so much be considered like an actual combat war movie.
Like war movies, that's like it's always on the top.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and it's obviously happening during World War II, and it's one of the. I mean, that was a hard one to watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know the end. I think it was I had it on another one of our lists that we talked about not so long ago.
Yeah, I think the saddest movies was it.
Yeah. So it's just, you know, it's a great movie, great cast, well performed. It was a necessary movie so that, you know, people knew what happened and stuff like that. But that goes down as my number 2 top war movies that I've seen.
Okay. My number 2 was Lone Survivor.
Nice. Nice.
Obviously based on another true
that was Mark Wahlberg too, right?
Yeah, Marcus Luttrell. Yeah, and that man's been through some shit. The fact that like like in real life, like the lone survivor Marcus Luttrell, like he also went back out like after he like recuperated from his injuries and everything else, like got reassigned and was like went back to fight more war. You know what I mean? Like it was just the Navy SEALs and the intense where they're just rolling down the fucking cliff is just absolutely insane to me. But that's my number 2.
Yeah, no, y'all definitely built different, man. So appreciate
those people are built different.
Well, I mean, just joining the military period, man. You know, props and much love, and appreciate what you've done for us, because I couldn't do it. I ain't even gonna front. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with you on that one. No, there's some really good ones, man. My number 1, I saw it when I was a kid, and it just hit me, stuck with me for forever. It's still one of my favorite movies. I watch it at least once a year, and I'm not the biggest war movie fan, but I gotta watch this one at least once a year. It's so good. It's Platoon.
Oh yeah,
Platoon was just so good. It had Charlie Sheen, Tom Berenger, Willem Dafoe. It's got a great cast.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's exciting. It's scary. It's got everything you need. It won a bunch of awards. I believe Oliver Stone directed it as well. Sorry,
Yeah.
the dog seems to not be happy with my Platoon choice, but
I'm surprised
he'll be all right.
I was surprised you didn't pick Forrest Gump.
No, I didn't want to get laughed at or shamed again for throwing Forrest Gump. Like I almost put it at number 5 just to be my number 5 one or whatever, but no, that's why I went. That's why I went with Independence Day instead. But no, Platoon is one of my favorite movies. Period. Not just war movies. It's one of my favorite movies. So.
I got my number 1, Saving Private Ryan. Like
my wife loves that movie too.
Yeah, and really just the initial first 15, 20 minutes of it is just again just intense when they're storming the beach. Yeah, feel realistic and things like that. So, yeah.
That's and again this. A lot of these movies are one and done. Like it's just scary to think. That's why I'm saying thank you for your service. You know what I'm saying? You and everybody else out there, because I couldn't imagine going to war and doing that shit. So, props to you and thanks to you and everybody else that served out there. But yeah, again, a lot of these movies I saw when I was a kid, and they was just like, yeah, I ain't fucking with that shit. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll do what I can. I do what I can from here. You know what I'm saying?
Amen to that. Johnny, before we get out of here, you got anything else you want to dump out for the day?
No, I'm good. Be on the lookout for Kendall Sports Network. The Dolphin Chronicles is coming back, I believe, this week with all this Dolphin trades that we just talked about. You can hear us get deep into it on Kendall Sports Network. Check me out over there. But no, I'm glad to be back here. And again, finally got the move out of the way, settling into the new spot. So we should be good to go for every Sunday morning to do the dump. I'm going to go watch the new Jurassic Park film tonight.
We are too, actually. We are too.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I'll be reviewing that next week. I got a quick 30-second review, if that, on Riff Raff with Bill Murray and Pete Davidson, where they're like two hitmen.
Yeah. What's that on?
It's on either a Max, I think it is. Either Hulu or Max. It's on one of those. I mean, if you ain't got shit else to do, otherwise it was it was all right. It gets 2 out of 5. It was, it was. I mean, when you hear, Bill Murray's funny in it or whatever. Ed Harris is in it. It's got a good cast. Yeah, but it was just I
saw the previews. I was like, I should check that out, and I have.
Yeah, I was expecting a little bit more. It was just all right. It was just all right.
I did watch Heads of State. It's on Prime.
Okay. The Idris Elba and
John Cena.
John Cena.
I can't get behind John Cena for some reason. I really just can't.
Right.
Unless he's like a comedy for some reason, but I can't.
Have you seen him in Peacemaker? Have you seen him as Peacemaker?
Yeah, so I love him as Peacemaker.
Yeah, he's great in that.
I can get behind that. Like, he's a believable dumb idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can believe him in that. But when he's trying to play something serious, and like Head of State, he's not really serious, but he's like trying to be an action hero and somewhat serious. I just couldn't. I didn't really like it. I mean, it was like I give it 1.5. But I haven't finished it yet. Season 2 of Tires, fucking incredible. Hilarious. Obviously, Shane Gillis is hilarious. So if you get time to watch season 2 of Tires, it's definitely worth it. I finished about half of it, and it's hilarious. So,
definitely need to check that out. Yeah, absolutely.
So, other than that, folks, be a friend, tell a friend, like, subscribe, share. We'll be back next Sunday, 8 o'clock Central, 8 a.m. Central, should I say, 9 Eastern. So we'll see you then.
Peace.
Thanks so much for joining us, and until next time, let's talk sport, friends. Thanks for watching.